Welcome, guys, to the Trading Titans podcast. So another episode. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. Now, today's quote: "Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought, for the human spirit is colored by such impressions." Marcus Aurelius. Now, look, again, I love doing these quotes, as I always say to you guys. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, the more you lead your life through certain guiding principles, I think principles are really important aspects of getting through whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And the more you kind of live your life around these, the better it is for you, and the more you can achieve what you want to achieve. And that's what I find, anyway, going through my life, is that as long as you do that, you don't really have a problem. You know, it's when we lose principles and we get completely controlled by inner thought, it becomes a bit of an issue. And I guess this is what this quote is trying to say, is that you are what you think about, which I think is the old Earl Nightingale saying, you know, you are exactly what you think about. So if you think about negative stuff, well, you're going to have negative things happening to you consistently. If you think about losing your trades a lot, then you're going to lose your trades. If you think about the whole business is a scam and it's rigged against you, then it will be rigged against you. It will feel rigged against you. So ultimately, in your mind, it is rigged. And if you keep thinking about failure, you are going to fail. And that's exactly what this is all about. It's just be mindful, you know, about your thoughts and ensuring that your thoughts are positive ones. And despite what anyone else is trying to say or what they're trying to convince you about, as long as you're holding positive thoughts, you rarely can go wrong. I run into people in life who are very guarded about their opinions, and they're very guarded about, you know, the things that they do, the things that they buy, or the people they talk to. They're like hugely, there's like a big wall, and they're so scared about maybe opening up because, you know, people are people, right? They sometimes don't know how to deal with that, so they're so guarded. But I think really the truth of the matter is that rather than be guarded, you just have to have a positive outlook on everything. And if you do, even people who come to you with a certain intention in mind, sometimes they can't follow through just because they realize that you're completely open individual. So I've never found the need to be like so guarded. And maybe it's why I enjoy doing what I do right now, is because, you know, I don't mind talking to you guys. I have absolutely zero opinion in terms of, you know, what people think of me. I think of myself in a completely positive way, and that's come to speak volumes. And maybe people think about me in the same way, maybe they don't, but I do not bother my thoughts about whether you think negatively about me, because that would be crazy. Imagine that, right? That I sat down and I consistently thought about how everyone thought negatively about me. I would never do this podcast. Awesome stuff, guys. So we're going to stump into it. So we're going to see what today ultimately looks like, what the week has been, and we're going to be looking at dollar CAD. So see you on the other side. Okay, guys, just following up from last week, talking about market inefficiency. So we're looking at a trade on dollar CAD, and one of the things that we were contemplating last week on the podcast was that we were going to trade 125.40 being the gap in value. And that is exactly what is playing out right now. So it should make for a more or less interesting trade. So we'll see how that one goes. And again, guys, if you want to learn about risk management, I think that it's a good opportunity to join the client room. Just head to the vault. The link is on there. We've got a special offer going. So give you an opportunity, obviously, to see how we do things and how we go about managing those trades. So yeah, it will become a lot clearer as we deal with it in that light. But we should be down, and we're going to monitor this trade. And any questions, guys, just let me know. Hey, guys. So I'm going to just continue again. I obviously promised to get back to this position. So 8:59, and it is the 10th of November. So early doors. Now, as you can see, I was trading this earlier in the week for the gap, right? Now, I'm usually quite unrealistic about volatility because the thing about markets these days, you never know when they're going to take off. So I could have put my target for the point of control, which I think is a much more likely arrival point. However, I moved my target for the gap in value, because obviously the idea about what I'm showing you guys is the gap in value. Now, so far the position is doing quite well, and actually I'm going to close it long before that. It's Friday already, and if you're a professional, you know not to keep a position over the weekend. So I'll shut this down in preparation for the new week. There will always be something to trade, so that is of no particular loss or concern to myself. So I'm quite happy. So that's the overall synopsis in terms of where things stand now. So a couple of things here is that, for one, gap in value trades, they work, right? That's the bottom line. They do work. And whatever happens, I said this in a prior podcast, so you guys can search out to the prior episodes, that actually I was looking at dollar CAD, and I think it was the podcast where we made about 60 pips on CAD, is the exact same podcast that I was saying that I'm actually quite excited because, despite the bullish move on the Canadian, what I was expecting in future was a trade back down to 125.40. That's exactly what's happening, right? So I'm not a wizard, right? It's just understanding that market inefficiency has to get dealt with. So this is like an awesome strategy that gives you more or less an 80% probability of success, right? Obviously, if you want to know how to manage your risk manage against this kind of idea, then I suggest you check out the client room. So if you are familiar with you're seeing this podcast through marketprofile.org, which is our new site underpinned by the Traders Club. You can basically go to the vault and pretty much pick up anything you need at the vault. Right? Now, if you are looking at this via our dashboard in the Traders Club app, that's both web app and mobile, then you could just basically, if you just send us an email, I think is the easiest thing. Or you can just basically sign up directly to the client room from there. And let us know, obviously, if you have any difficulties or any problems signing up, and we'll get in touch. But just drop us an email. We have a limited special offer on marketprofile.org, which means you get the client room for pretty much half the price that you'll normally get it for. It's a limited offer, so take advantage of it now before it's too late. And in the client room, you'd see us discuss a lot of the risk management options, which I think is everyone's priority now. I think most people can, or if they're being honest, maybe they can, maybe they cannot. But I like to believe that most people can actually get direction right, so they know where the market's going to go. So why they don't make money is still beyond me. But I think most people can tell that the market's going to go up, it's going to go down. I think the biggest problem is, how do I manage my risk against the volatility? So if you want to know how that works, then you should consider the client room. And there's we deal with a lot about that there. But if you want a more in-depth look, and maybe you're thinking about being a money manager or looking at this professionally, then you should try out our transformation program, where we can actually sit with you and spend a lot more time developing you as a trader. And obviously you get the max benefit you need to get from it. But it's really down to your learning style. To be honest, we're not particularly, desperate for you to pick one or the other. Pick the one that works for you. So whether it's cheaper, whether it's more expensive, we think it's all value based on your learning style. Anyway, guys, awesome stuff. As you can see, it's not difficult to be profitable. In fact, this is a weekly profile, so this is quite a significant drop, and it's a one lot position. Now, if I was running this on a 2 or 3 lot position, then it will be actually much more significant. So you can do quite well. It's not beyond you. So maybe there are people out there who keep telling you it's increasingly difficult. It is hard. I'm just not playing this down at all, because it involves decision making, and we are in a society where we're trained to opt out. So there is no decision making. So largely speaking, for this reason, trading can seem very, very difficult and taxing. But if you get used to making decisions, and you have something that can allow you to make quick decisions, then you won't struggle. It's the second guessing that's the problem. And trust me, everyone's been through that phase. But the reality is that at some point, if you're sticking to something and you're doing your best to figure it out, you'll figure it out. That's the important thing to take from this. Anyway, guys, awesome stuff. Have a awesome weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast. When we do trade the gap, we'll follow this up. So I said this in the last podcast that we'll follow this up. We will follow this up, okay? So regardless of, I'm probably not going to be able to do any more recordings because it's a Friday and it's my day off, and I love to get out and do stuff. For me, I just check on the positions and I'm gone, right? I'm almost 70-80% certain that I'm going to make some money at the end of the week, so I'm not really concerned. I just check them and then bugger off and go do fun stuff I like to do. I mean, that's the point of why I've spent many years doing this, is that I actually really enjoy, just being away from the grind, and it just never really works very well for me. And I'm quite happy in the place that I am. So yeah, I like to get out and do stuff, and and get to grips with things. Nothing bothers me a great deal. I just chill. So I just check this stuff and I go, and that's why I love Market Profile. Is because I don't really have to waste any time, or too much time anyway, doing this stuff. I can actually go out and have some fun. I get really agitated if I find that I can't really get out and do the stuff that I enjoy doing. I can assure you it is not sitting in front of a screen for 24 hours. Awesome stuff, guys. Any questions, just let me know, and I shall hopefully see you guys on the next podcast.